Hi, it's Heather, and I'm back with another tutorial for you. This is going to be the image that we're making today, and it's actually going to be for a friend of mine's blog, and he asked me to make a header for it, and this is it. Anyways, this is my final image, and I'm going to go through here and break it down for you instead of just remaking the whole thing. What I did first is I went up to image, and I adjusted the size. So this was originally like 2672 by 1920. And I wanted to shrink the height just a smidgen because it's a banner, so it needs to be wider than it is tall. And in order to change this without it adjusting your width too, you need to uncheck the constrain proportions. Because if you don't uncheck it, it won't let you change just one number, it'll change both of them. And then what I also did is I adjusted the canvas size of this, and I wanted to stretch it out to the right a bit because I had planned on putting my text out to the right. When I did this originally, I set the width to about 10 and I left it at inches. So then I added in a black layer underneath that could fade into this. Okay, so next thing I did was create a duplicate layer, and I set it have an adjustment of black and white, and then I also set it so that it's for the layer directly below it. And you do that by clicking this button right here with the square and the little arrow. That makes it so that it only affects the layer directly below. So that's what you want. And then on top of that, I added in a layer mask, and I'm actually going to disable this so you can see, because it was just black and white, and I actually played with the sliders on this quite a bit, and I've posted my exact specifications in the in-depth tutorial so you can see exactly what my numbers are. So now I'm going to turn my layer mask back on, and what I used was just a soft round brush set to black, and I just kind of went through here, and I had my opacity set to about 45, and I just colored in like interesting parts of the masks, like the lips and like the border, and then around the eyes, like where it's like super shiny and stuff like that. I wanted to have it still have its color. So once I've done that, then what I did is I created what's called a stamp visible. And the good thing about stamp visibles is it's basically combining everything that you've already done onto a layer by itself. So what you'll do is you'll click into the topmost layer, which at this point should be the black and white layer. And you'll hold down Control Alt Shift, and you'll hit the letter E. And it will create what's called the stamp visible. Like you literally see it right here. So now that I've done that, I have this layer. And the filter that we're going to use is a blur filter. So it's motion blur. And I have it set to 0. And then mine's only set to about 108. So I did that. And then I added a layer mask to it. And I wanted to take away the blur in certain areas. And you can see, like right here, or right here under the eye, and then right here on the lips and around the nose, it's a lot clearer than the rest of the image. So then I added my texture onto it. Now the texture that I used is actually interesting. This texture is literally like a Bud Light can that I saw outside, but it provided a really interesting texture for this particular project. So you're gonna set it to overlay. My bad. Okay, so I set it to multiply, and then I went back in and I created another layer mask. So I actually stayed away from the faces, and I focused mainly on like around the eyes and the trim and the lips, the border and stuff like that. So then what I did is I added a hue saturation adjustment, and you'll do that, could you just go up to the adjustment and you'll hit hue saturation. And for it, I barely did it, like barely, because I just wanted it the tone to match a little more, because when you take it off, it's like brighter red, and I wanted it to be more dark. I wanted it to match the black. So in other words, I just made it a little tone darker. And then what I started to do was added in my text. And the font that I used is Roots Lab 1, and I've provided a download link. It's a free font that I got off DaFont. And when I say a free font, I mean it's free for commercial, it's free for personal use. So what I did was I wrote it out, Madness Consumes, and then I set it to be overlay. And then as I started to play with it, I noticed that it's interesting if I move it around a little bit. So that's literally what I did. I just made several copies of this, moved one down here, one up here. And then I got even more fun and made these layers bigger in size. So like the size on this one is what? Let's see. 57, whereas the size on these others, let's see, 39? Yeah. And then I did one more, and I made it even bigger than all the rest. And I just put them wherever I want. But because I have it set to overlay, it needs to be over the mask or you won't be able to see it. Because the minute I move it into that black area, if you don't see it anymore. And I really liked the way that it treats it when you set it to overlay. And that's it. That's literally all I did. If you guys have any questions or comments, leave them on the video or the blog, and I will see them. Also, don't forget to go check out my friend's blog. So I will see you guys next time, and thanks for watching.